right, happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to today's live stream. Sorry for the late start. We have some issues with the servers. I don't know what's going on. A bunch of sites were down, so we couldn't get going, but all is good. So let's get it rocking. Mr. Wong, good evening, sir. Good to see you. Happy Friday to you.
Hey, happy Friday, Gershom. Thank you.
Nice.
Yep.
James, how you doing, buddy? How was your week this week?
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah.
Just hunkering down.
Living out there in beautiful sunny California. I'm jealous.
Yeah. Is
All right.
Philly reopening, guys, or are they reversing it like here in Cali?
Um, they haven't. I haven't heard anything about reversing everything. We're not having as many cases like California and Texas and and Florida. So I haven't heard anything about us reversing. Have you heard anything, Jason?
No, actually, Pennsylvania has been doing fairly well in keeping the numbers steady and lowering it. Today in Philly, in particular, we just announced another 135 additional cases. So yesterday, I think we had like 150. So it is definitely within that lower range that we have been seeing. Uh, However, I was out shopping with my wife this morning, and I do see more and more people start to let their guards down. By that I mean they're just not wearing a mask, when they're out. So we should keep our keep doing it until we have a vaccine available. Speaking of the vaccines, as we mentioned on Monday, I think we are making some good progress on the vaccine, front. There are multiple candidates or vaccines that are in second trial, and I think they just started the phase three either today or beginning of next week. That those trials are going to be involving 30,000 plus participants, and all of those people are at a higher than normal risk of contracting the COVID-19. So, once those people are given the doses of the potential vaccine, it'll give us a really good, indication as to this is going to be working or not. So, keeping my fingers crossed.
Yeah, I think 30,000 is a good number to run a test on. Because I think one of the last tests that they ran, I think people were complaining that they didn't do a big enough sample size, and so that caused some skepticism. But 30,000, a lot of people. So yeah, I hear the
Yeah.
same thing too, Jason. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah. No. I say yes. Go ahead. Yep. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Gershom.
yeah. I hear the same thing too. There are a couple of companies out there that's the information coming out from them is pretty promising. And a few of them, like you said, are in third stage testing. So by the end of the year, maybe we should see something as far as a vaccine. So keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully it worked out. But in the meantime, it seems like the numbers here in Pennsylvania, they're manageable, as opposed to places like California and Texas and Florida. It almost seems like those numbers are not manageable at all. They're almost out of control. So hopefully, they can get it under control. And I know that California is rolling things back as far as opening up. Last I heard, like no indoor gathering, no church gathering, restaurants, bars are all no gathering inside. So we'll see how things play out. At this point, all we can do right now, we're playing a waiting game until the vaccine comes up, until we get a handle on this thing. All right, so let's get right into it, guys. We're allowed to talk about Jason. Let's just go right into it, man. The big topic this week: Twitter got hacked, and what
Yep.
happened is they hacked Twitter, and the hacker, they weren't demanding Bitcoin in the traditional sense where, hey, we took over Twitter, and if you guys want Twitter back up, you got to send us Bitcoin. What they were doing, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, Jason, but because they have been running this scam now for a while, and I'm seeing it more and more every day. It's like, for example, on YouTube, what they will do, like say, for example, let's say Elon Musk spoke at a conference or he was involved in an interview. They will take a clip of the interview or the speech that he gave, and then they'll frame around it, say, hey, Elon Musk is giving away 5,000 Bitcoin. If you send us 1 Bitcoin, we'll send you 2 Bitcoin. And so with the Twitter hack, that's what they did. They hack into these accounts, all these celebrities and politicians and well-known people, and then they were tweeting out from their account like it was them that was tweeting, and they were saying things like, hey, if you send us 1 Bitcoin, we're running this promotion, whatever. You send us 1 Bitcoin, we send you 2. You send a half a Bitcoin, we send you a whole Bitcoin. And so it's not a new scam, but I was really surprised to see them, hacking Twitter that way. But the information that's coming out is that they actually had some inside help. They actually had some Twitter employee on the inside that actually helped them to hack into these accounts and took them over, which is a big deal. But the thing that surprised me is that some of the people came out and they were trying to blame Bitcoin. It's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. Like, people saying that's why we shouldn't have Bitcoin. And it's so frustrating when I hear stuff like that. I mean, what's your take on it, Mr. Wong?
The only way these scam would ever work is because people's, plays into people's greed psychologies, right? Scam is always the same. It's just being, packaged and dressed up in different fashion, but it always playing on people's greed. If you, let that play into your mind or your psychology, I guess you will always be scammed. Whether it's Bitcoin or, Bitcoin in this case is just what they were, asking you to send out. It could be gold, right? I mean, same scams, that probably happens in the 90s when I first immigrated to America. I would read newspaper, try to improve my English. And then I'll get to like these classified ads, and then I'll see, these individual classified ads. They're saying, send us a money order of $50, and with a self-addressed, envelope and with stamp, and you'll get $100 back, right? It's the same thing. It's the same scam that they're using, just like this Twitter's, but people fall for that because they're greedy. There's no such thing in the world that if you send somebody $1, they're gonna send you $2 back without working for it, without providing any values, right? Why would Elon Musk? Yeah, why would Elon Musk do that? For you.
And another crazy thing when you think about it, if I send someone Bitcoin, they don't have any information to send me Bitcoin. I mean, just that alone, because if I send Bitcoin from my send address cannot receive Bitcoin. So how do I send me Bitcoin back? But you're right though. People fall for these things because of greed, and these guys are making a lot of money doing this. Like the one I saw, before this whole Twitter thing, they made over $2 million on that particular scam. And I think the one with the Twitter, they made about 120,000, which wasn't a lot. I think the hacker wasn't very smart. But nonetheless, the fact that it happened. But the thing that really frustrated me, like I said, is how so many people came out and they tried to make it seem like, Bitcoin was to be blamed for this, which is so ridiculous. I've never heard of all the scam that's been out there for all these years, right? I've never heard a scam that involved the dollar. Someone, scam somebody for money, and anyone ever say, hey, we should ban US dollars because there was a scam that involved US dollars. And when people say that, it shows you there's honesty. For someone to try to blame Bitcoin for what happened, It's complete dishonesty. And, you know, the fact that that comes out and then you have other people that's believing that and supporting that kind of idea that Bitcoin should be blamed or cryptocurrencies to be blamed, it's so dishonest and so ridiculous. And it's very frustrating, but hey, you know, what are you going to do? People are people, right? All right, so moving right along on this article. This one, are we good?
Hey, I'm back.
I'm
I'm back, guys.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I'm having some internet issues here, and actually, it's kind of funny. We don't know why, but we were having issue logging into YouTube or Facebook earlier. So
yeah, I know what's going on. Something is up.
I feel like.
But right before you got cut off, you still there, Mr. Wong?
I am here. I am here.
Yep. Yeah, right before you. Yeah, I can see you and hear you.
Okay, good. Thank you. Yep.
Right before we got cut off, I was asking for your take in the fact that we had so many people came out and was trying to say that, you know, Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is to be blamed for these type of scam. And it's so ridiculous. And I was saying, I never heard anyone that said the US dollar was to be blamed for all the scam that was taking place before cryptocurrency.
Exactly.
I don't understand why people have this animosity towards Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. I don't understand the hate. I really don't.
It's not. It's just because they don't understand, right? You know, so they're quickly to try to find something or someone to blame for this, but it had absolutely nothing to do with Bitcoin. It could be Go that these scammers are asking for. Then are you going to blame Go, or it could be just, you know, asking you to wire, you know, $1,000, then are you going to blame the U.S. dollars or the banking, you know, or the banks that you use?
It's so stupid.
It's just ignorance, you know. People do not understand or taking the time out to kind of read what was going on, and they just find the first thing to blame. That's all. It's just a shame. So
yeah, it is a shame. It's frustrating too. Okay, so let's move right along. The next, Mr. Wong, you're gonna love this article. You're gonna.
Oh yeah.
So, a man in Texas.
Yeah.
He applied for the PPP loan, right? The Pure Protection, and he got the money, like $1 million, I think it was.
Wow.
And he used the money to buy he used the money to buy Bitcoin. Not only that, the two companies that he used to submit the application for the loan, they were fictitious companies. So he just made it up.
Of course.
Got the loan and then used $1 million to buy Bitcoin. And so now he's in jail. Like, how crazy are you? What's wrong with these people?
He deserves to be in jail.
I mean, I get it. Everybody wants their hands on Bitcoin because, you know, what Bitcoin is and the value Bitcoin brings to all of us. But that's not the way to get your Bitcoin, okay? Get a Bitcoin mining package with us, okay? Right. Don't try to run scams like that. But I saw that and I fell off the chair laughing. It was so funny.
Do it the right way, guys. You know, you don't need to take these, you know, creative way to try to get the Bitcoins. I wonder what was his plan. So you know, you'll get caught. So I just don't understand it. I mean, it's that $1 million. You know, it's probably. It's not going to change his lifestyle, I don't think, right? I mean, how long can you live off of $1 million, right? Not forever. Yeah. So, I just saw his picture. My goodness.
You know, I think when you have that kind of mindset, you really don't think things through.
No.
Because there's no way he could have think that through and still go through with that. So I thought it was a funny story to just kind of talk about that anyone would actually do that. And the video that we have coming up really plays into that. I'm not sure if James have it ready. So this gentleman in this video, if you guys have seen the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, that movie was actually a true story, to a certain extent. I'm sure they do some embellishing, but it was a true story. And the gentleman that actually, the character in the movie, Jordan Belfort, he actually have a podcast that I subscribe to. And so this clip is a very short portion of the interview he was doing with some guy named Beetle. And they're talking about if you're gonna, commit some kind of crime or a scam or whatever, Bitcoin is the worst currency to use to do any kind of crime or scam or anything like that, for the simple fact that you can trace Bitcoin. It doesn't matter if you had Bitcoin from the time it came out in 2009, and you did something, whatever, they can get on the blockchain and they can actually find out exactly everywhere that Bitcoin went.
That's right.
Whichever wallet it went to, they can trace it all the way back from its original source. So it's funny. With this week, we had the Twitter scam that came out of people blaming Bitcoin and all of that. And we have this guy in Texas that used a PPP loan to buy Bitcoin. I mean, how could the thing was going to get away with that? But the reason why I want us to watch this video, it's not very long, it's like 6 minutes long, is for us to understand that, look, and I used to hear this all the time, I would talk to someone about Bitcoin, and the first thing that they would say is, oh, that's for criminals. And that also is another ignorant statement, right? And I know most of our members out there, you're probably talking to people about Bitcoin, and you're going to get that same argument. Oh, only criminals use that. That's for crime. And don't get frustrated with them. Right? Don't get angry. They're just ignorant, okay? Complete ignorance. But I thought that this video would shed some light as to why it's not a good idea to use Bitcoin to, commit any kind of crime because it's traceable. As a matter of fact, the best currency to use for any kind of crime per se is dollars, because
cash.
You can't trace those, right? but nobody ever talk about that.
Well, do you really expect the smart criminals at least, to talk about it? They want all those dumb criminals to use, Bitcoins because that's going to trace it right back to them. But all the smart ones are using cash.
They're using cash. It's so frustrating to talk to people and they talk about that's only for criminals. So guys, let's watch this video. And then, I would like to get some of you guys' input. What do you guys think about this? How you guys feel about the idea, number one, that people always take any opportunity that they have to, say something negative about Bitcoin. Whatever chance that they get, they always do it. And I don't understand the hate that people have for this wonderful technology. But let's watch this video, and then hopefully we can come back on here and have a more dialogue around it. If you're ready, James, go ahead, my buddy.
But I do have a different question I think is very much potential problem. And this is the idea what originally really turned me off on Bitcoin. Because I loved the idea of blockchain. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was elegant. I thought it had so many uses. The worst of which was Bitcoin. Like, to me, it's like, wow, this is so great for keeping track of records and this and that and people and tracking production lines, all this stuff. I said the dumbest use for me is a speculative instrument that is disguising itself as a currency. That being said, the other side was that, okay, well, that could be stupid or smart. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. But I just had been through in my own life watching the way the government went after me for laundering money. And I saw how they literally over about a 15 or 20 year period, after about 20 years before that of trying, they finally clamped down on Switzerland and the overseas banking world. And they just put so much resources to stamping out money laundering. So now they're going to say, okay, great, go ahead, just operate. That's fine. Just do that. Two sides of the coin here. One, why the fuck would the U.S. government allow this to happen? And two, maybe it's the best thing for the U.S. government because they actually know what's going on. And yeah, go have your Bitcoin because at any time we want, we can go in. What do you think?
Okay, so there's a couple things to this, right? So with Bitcoin, it's an immutable, transparent blockchain. So the transactions you made in 2009 are visible in 2030, right? 2090, whatever. So they're going to be able to see those transactions if they know what your wallet address is. And there's people hardcore in this space that say you never use the same wallet more than once. But bottom line, it goes to one wallet, you got to send it to another wallet. They can still track it. They have forensic tracking in blockchain. So the government knows like where the money's at, who's using it. People are getting caught all the time trying to launder money. So if you want to use a currency, and this is not advice, peeps, if you're trying to use a currency that can't be tracked, that you don't want people to know what you're doing with it, how much of it you have, you wouldn't use Bitcoin. Bitcoin is, the way I look at it, is a plan B currency for people like in Venezuela, or as basically a storage of value. If you're trying to do nefarious things, you wouldn't want to use Bitcoin. You'll get caught, period. That's the dumbest thing you can do. You would use a privacy coin, and I'm not going to name those off to help encourage this, but there's lots of privacy tokens and coins out there that have all kinds of bells and whistles that allow for stuff to operate in the shadows. And that's what those people use. They don't use Bitcoin. Yeah.
Makes sense, guys. So it's really just not made for that, and that's not the risk. Was it ever a risk? Did it change? Like, did it start off as a legitimate concern and just evolved? The sheer size of it has made it not the right thing to launder money with, or was it? Because originally, like when I asked this question, everyone, it was like, yeah, the government's not. I know no one really said that. No, actually, it's the stupidest thing you could ever do. That was a good answer you gave me, but that wasn't the answer I was getting back in 2017 and 16 when I was like, whoa. I was like, because I got on TV and said, listen, guys, I don't know. All I know is that if I was the government, like knowing what's going on, oh, yeah, they're going to allow, let's just turn the world over to Bitcoin. That was a combination of people, them saying Bitcoin's going to replace the dollar. And I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, we're just going to give up control of the economy and monetary policy. The whole world's based on monetary policy, right? So in that sense, what you're saying is that basically it's nothing to do with that at all. It's a sense that just that in terms of if someone's going to commit crimes in the crypto space, the last thing you would do is commit them using Bitcoin because you're going to get caught. And people probably still do and get caught, right?
Yeah, there's all kinds of people out there that do that. They think that, Bitcoin is, it's some kind of, shadow currency. Nobody can see what they do, but they're wrong. If you want to launder money, if you want to do nefarious things, use cash, use a dollar, use Federal Reserve notes, because that stuff you can take anywhere in the
Bearer
world.
bonds.
Right, exactly. So if you really want to be clever, you just take briefcases full of cash and you pay somebody, or you would use privacy tokens and privacy coins. Make no mistake. Again, the only cryptocurrency that is ever going to be, basically that's going to get the pass from the government is going to be a government-controlled cryptocurrency, because we all know governments are all about control. So you'll never see Bitcoin replace the U.S. dollar. It's just never going to happen, right? But you'll see a Fed coin that's coming out in 2022, right? So you will see that cryptocurrency. You've already seen all these digital wallets. I don't know if you go to Asia much, but everything there is done with your phone. They're not using cash. They're not using credit cards. They're using WePay and all kinds of stuff like that. They're already, 4 or 5 steps ahead of the U.S. when it comes to using digital currencies. And so that's why China is actually launching their cryptocurrency. I think it's already out. I think they're already in trials and using it, and that's what you're going to see. So crypto is, in my beliefs, stable coins are good for merchants. Other cryptocurrencies, I think 99% of them are going to just die. They're just they're just silly. They're not going to work. They're going to just basically run out of money, or they're just not going to work for whatever reason. And the ones that do survive, those will be like stores of value. What you're going to see really working though is blockchain. So the actual technology itself.
I agree 1,000%.
All right. So a couple of things in that video really caught my attention. Number one, the fact that and these are things that we have known for a while, but especially for someone that's not in this space, or some of our new members may be hearing the same thing that Bitcoin is only for criminals and stuff like that. Because I used to hear it all the time. I don't hear it as much anymore, but I know that people still have that connotation that Bitcoin is for criminals. But it's the worst currency that you can use for crime because it's trackable. You can track it all the way back to the very first Bitcoin, right? Because of the blockchain, open source technology. So this guy, Jordan Belfort, like I said, he is the guy that the character in The Wolf of Wall Street developed off of that person right there. He was the guy, actually. And so in the beginning, when he first got exposed to Bitcoin, he was definitely not a Bitcoin guy. And he's still kind of on the fence. Right now, he's just getting more educated about Bitcoin and the different value Bitcoin brings to the table. But in the beginning, he wasn't a Bitcoin guy because he didn't understand the technology. He didn't really understand it. But now he's slowly understanding how this works. And the other thing that they talk about, and we've discussed this many times, is the fact that there's all these different countries, they are going to develop their own cryptocurrency. It's not going to be anything like Bitcoin. It's not going to be decentralized. It's not going to be an open source technology, and there won't be a limited amount to it. So, they are going to do it because that's just the way technology is shifting us, right? We have to follow the technology. So they are going to do it, but it's not going to be anything like Bitcoin. And, yes, we're going to have to use their digital currency to transact in the system, so to speak. But we will always have Bitcoin as a store of value. And that's one of the biggest benefits that Bitcoin brings to the table is the fact that it is actually a store of value. Just like gold used to be for thousands of years, now Bitcoin is going to take that spot in a digital sense. But, the fact that people still talk about Bitcoin as the best source for criminals to use to commit crime, it is absolutely hogwash. Don't believe that stuff.
You're right, Gershom. I gave actually a presentation on this before, on this very topic. This is really not as an advice for people to if they want to commit some kind of a crime, not to use Bitcoin, but to kind of, for people who don't believe in Bitcoin and think that this is for criminal, use, or from the underground, or those underground criminal users, it doesn't hold true because law enforcement agency have repeatedly said that they love it when criminal uses Bitcoins to transact because it makes it easier for them to trace it back to them, right? What's difficult is when you use Federal Reserve notes to transact criminal activities, then it's hard to trace it down. And that's the reason why, banks have rules that if you deposit more than $10,000 in cash, they're required to file certain IRS forms. And these are the reasons why, federal government come up with these rules. It's because it's so difficult to track, so that they're trying to limit the amount of cash that you can bring into the bank and deposit, as to prevent money laundering, right? There is no chance that if you're trying to use Bitcoins to launder your money, you're just going to get caught. So for anybody who's trying to say, oh, Bitcoin is for the scammer, for the criminal, it just doesn't hold true. In fact, it's quite the opposite. The law enforcement love it, for these dumb criminals, to use Bitcoins because it always traces back to the individual wallet. So
yeah, you're right. And it's the complete opposite. Go ahead, Mr.
Yeah. And I was going to say, all these actually reason why the Chinese government or the U.S. will soon probably start their digital coin, is because the underground economy is just as big, if not bigger. So it's actually an incentive for the Chinese government to start using these digital currencies, because now all of a sudden, if you have $1 billion in cash that you stash away in your house, in your basement, you have to decide to do something with that. And you
Yes.
can't exactly just turn it into the bank account and say, hey, help me deposit this, right? That's certainly going to raise some red flags. So
you're gonna raise a bunch of red flags.
yeah, exactly. So it's great for the government, to tighten up the control, right? Like I said, these underground economy, some economists estimate that it's bigger than what's the what is reported. So
yeah, 100%, Mr. Wang. The government digital currency, when it comes out, it is not to benefit us. Many people may want to think of it that way. Yes, will it create some convenience? Because, we right now, we're in a space in time where no one like to carry around cash. People don't want to take out money in their pocket and count money to pay people and stuff like that. That's why I know many people don't carry cash anymore. They use their credit card, debit card, the Apple Pay and stuff like that. So convenience-wise, yes, the government digital currency will create more convenience because you want to have all this cash to deal with. But just like Mr. Wang is saying, it's going to kill the underground economy, because now you can't, conduct any kind of transaction without the government knowing about it, right? And the government digital currency is not going to be just the run-of-the-mill digital currency. What these are going to be programmable money. And Mr. Wang, you and I discussed this, I think it was last week or week before last week, where when these currencies come out, the government digital currencies, they will be able to design it to where they can actually program a portion of the currency to say, hey, you can only use this to do certain things.
That's right.
You can only use this to buy a house, or you can only use it to buy a car, whatever. So that money, when they program that to be used for specific things, you cannot use it to do something else. I believe that the biggest disadvantage for us as citizens for the U.S. Any digital currency coming out is that we are going to lose a lot of our freedom because of that. Because then you no longer are in total control of your money. Imagine, and then also we talk about this also, Mr. Wang, to where they can make the money, they can have an expiration date on it, meaning that they can say, okay, you have to use this money before this time. And if you don't, it's going to lose maybe 5 or 10% of its value. And then if you don't use it by this much time, it's lose 0.5%. And so they're going to force you to spend the money, because if you don't, it's going to lose its value, and then it can actually expire to where it's no longer any good. And I think one of the thinking behind that is that's going to juice the economy, right? They're going to force you to spend but then what that's going to do, that means that you cannot save anymore. I feel like our society is really punishing savers. The banks don't pay you anything. So if you're saving your money, thinking that you're going to get something out, it's not going to happen. It used to be you can put your money in the bank and get 5 or 6% interest on it, right? 8%. Now you're getting less than 1%. It's crazy. But keep in mind, guys, when the government digital currency comes out, it is not for your benefit. It is for their benefit.
Yeah, Gershom, I think you're right. You're very correct about this. And in fact, China is implementing some of those stuff that you were mentioning about, how to better target the specific sector of the economy or specific businesses, right? That's in fact what China is experimenting with, the digital coin, digital yuan. And they are able to do that because of that, that digital framework that they build out, because now the government can say, okay, you know what? The travel industry needed some help, right? And we're gonna be pumping in, billions of dollars into the travel industry, and you can only use it in certain categories over here. They could easily do that.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, but here's what I always imagine, thinking, right? People would always find a way to circumvent the system, to get around the system.
Yes,
So I have no
true.
doubt, people will either collude with some business people and try to come up with a creative way on how to spend the money that is in their wallet, and then in a different way that it was original intended for. Just like this guy who got $1 million in PPP loan, right? He used it. He used it to spend it on buying Bitcoins.
Yeah.
Which is a great idea to buy Bitcoin, but then this is not a way to get started.
But not like that.
No.
Not like that.
I encourage everybody to go out there and buy some Bitcoins, but start mining with us. But that's not a good way of starting it.
Yeah,
all right? That'll set you back.
It's interesting. You should have taken $1 million and buy some mining package with us, right? Some mining packages.
Yeah, for sure.
It's another thing is I think with digital currencies coming out, and they have been talking about this, and I believe that a lot of people just don't want to believe this. I don't want to believe it either, but I really believe that in the not too distant future, we're going to see the U.S. go to negative interest rate. And it's been debated, it's been discussed in numerous venues. I don't know. I think that's going to happen. And the reason why I'm bringing that up, because in a typical scenario, right, if you have your money in the bank and the government, announced that, or the bank said, you know what, we're going to implement negative interest rate, meaning that rather than you have your money in the bank and we pay you interest, you're going to pay us to have your money in the bank, basically, right? Mm-hmm. But if that's the case, you just go to your bank and take out the money, because why would you have your money in the bank if they're going to charge you to have your money there? You go take it out. But if they have digital currency, you can't take your money out the bank, right? Your money is trapped in the system. And so if they decide, to implement negative interest rate, let's say negative 0.5% or 1% or whatever, they can go as deep as they want to. There's nothing you can do. There's literally nothing you can do. And that's one of the things I'm saying, with this digital currency that the government is going to create, as citizens, we're going to lose a lot of our control over our money. And that's just one part of it. So, but you know what? We'll see how it plays out. It's going to happen. There's nothing we can do about it, but except for make sure that we have alternative. And I also believe, Mr. Wong, that this may actually drive more people into Bitcoin, because people are going to want to have an option, with their money. They want to be able to control their money, and Bitcoin provide every single person with freedom of their money, right? And no one can control it, can stop it, can take it from you. They can manipulate it and all that stuff. So I think, my hope at least is that when they start to implement these draconian rules and mandates and laws, that may very well drive more people into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I feel the same way, that if we do go to negative interest rate, and if we do have our digital USD versions that is issued by the Federal Reserve banks, it would drive more people looking for alternative investments, alternative places to kind of park their money or hold their money, right? Because prior to having, let's say, a digital USD, taking it out in cash is probably not a great idea either. I mean, who wants to walk around with all the cash in your pocket that you own and or leave it at home, right? I mean, that's not a good option, right? And they need alternative, opportunities, and I do think that people would start looking into maybe more like, in equities or precious metals or better yet, Bitcoins, because you can get on and off Bitcoins, very easily, right? If you have a crypto wallet. So I think it would definitely help drive another adoption, big adoptions.
Absolutely. All right, so we have one more article. The time is running up on us. This article, it talks about how institution money is going, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Also, it's funny how some of these things that we talk about, we're talking about it, but also the professionals are also talking about it, because what they're saying is institution money, and what they mean by institution money is big firm, Fidelity, big Wall Street hedge funds, that they're going to be the ones that's going to drive the next bull run in Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. And when you stop and think about it, you can see exactly how that's going to happen, because the average mom and pop, the average person, you may be able to buy a Bitcoin if you're buying Bitcoin, that is. A Bitcoin, maybe a fraction of a Bitcoin, whatever, a few $100s, few $1,000s. But these institutions, when they're coming in with hundreds of millions and billions of dollars.
Yep.
So there's no way that you're going to have these big institutions coming into the space and it doesn't move the price dramatically. And so as they're doing their analysis, what the professionals are realizing is that as more big money comes into the space, we're going to see the price moonshot. And I believe that, and we've been saying that for a while. We have discussed this in numerous live streams, that the next big bull run in Bitcoin is not going to be just the average mom and pop. The next big bull run in Bitcoin is going to come from Wall Street and the institution money. Do you agree, Mr. Wong?
Yes, if you actually look at the article and it's saying that primary of the money, right, 84% of it actually comes from these hedge funds. Mm-hmm. What do hedge funds do? Hedge funds is to find, investment that can hedge or protect, right, their other investment in case that the bigger chunk of the investment goes south, right? So they have the hedging position to kind of help offset that, right, and protect the value. So, and as we always say, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? I certainly didn't put everything into Bitcoins, right? And we don't encourage anybody to do that. But a lot of the experts are saying that, hey, you should consider putting 1%, 2%, or maybe 5%, right, of your investable asset into Bitcoins, as a hedging protection. So, Jamal and many industry experts actually have been saying that. So, and this article actually kind of just validate what we've been saying. What a lot of the experts are saying, that what every day normal person can do.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm not sure how many of our members or, our audience that's watching were involved with cryptocurrency or Bitcoin in 2017. And if you weren't around, it's hard to even describe what it was like. Because any given day, Bitcoin would go up by like $1,000, $1,500 in one day.
I remember that.
You remember that? And to put things in context, listen, to put things in context, guys, that year, Bitcoin started off the year at around $600 and something, and it ended at 20,000. Right? Just process that for a minute. It was insane. It was crazy. The reason why I'm bringing that up, I strongly believe that when this next bull run starts, it's going to make 2017 look like a dress rehearsal. It is going to be insane. Because think about it, Mr. Wong. Back then, you didn't have the Wall Street firms. You didn't have the big hedge fund. You didn't have the big institution. It was just believers, people just like like, you know, every people that was just believing this new technology and what it was doing. It wasn't
Yeah.
the big money. So if the average mom and pop can make a run like that, what do you
Yeah.
think when the Wall Street hundreds of millions and billions of dollars come in? What do you think that's going to do? It is going to be crazy. So, you know, yes, I'm excited. I cannot wait for the next bull run comes, because we may see days in Bitcoin go up like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a day.
Oh, I mean, you know, that's why I say don't try to trade Bitcoins, guys, because unless you are a professional trader, you know, I am pretty sure that if it goes up by 1,000 or 2,000 a day, it's gonna make you, or go down by 1,000 or 2,000 a day, right? It's
Yes,
gonna
it
make
can.
you, yeah, it's gonna make you think, oh, should I sell or should I
sell?
not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason why I like mining, you know, better, because I know that I'm getting it dollar cost averaging, you know, over a long period of time. And especially, you know, Gershon, you can touch on that topic when we, you know, combine that with our auto rebuy feature, right? Your package will mine for your machines, your package will mine for a very, very long time with VBit.
Absolutely. And that's one of the beautiful things about our company, is that our leadership team is always trying to come up with creative ways that can maximize our customers' experience. And I think we one of the, if not the only company that actually offer the clients the auto rebuy service, to where you can actually keep adding chip to your mining machine to, one, not only mine you more Bitcoin because it increases the hash power, but it also allows you to mine Bitcoin longer than the traditional way. For example, if you look at most other mining companies, they have a set time we can actually purchase a contract from them. You know, whether it's 2 years, a year, some is like 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, and that's it. And the reason for that is because the machines have a certain lifespan. But with our proprietary technology, where we approach it, is that we allow each and every person, once you have a mining machine, to actually keep adding more power, and also keep adding more computer chip to your machine to make sure that you can mine more Bitcoin in the short term, and also extend you to mine more Bitcoin in the long term. And I don't know if there's any other Bitcoin mining company out there that's offered that to their clients. So that's a very, very important feature that sets us apart from the rest of the pack. But yeah, I mean, I know right now Bitcoin has been going sideways for a while. It's like in this range, this $9,000-$10,000 range, and we've talked about this before also. Is that at some point it's going to break out, and I'm thinking towards the end of this year we may see a breakout. But the point is this: when the next bull run actually gets kicked off, you know, if you're around for 2017, you remember what that was like. And I believe that the next bull run is going to be nothing like 2017. It's going to be like 2017 times 10. But yeah, I mean, I cannot wait. I'm so excited for that because it's going to happen. All right, guys. Look, it was great as always. We love doing these live streams. I hope you guys are enjoying these live stream. Make sure that you guys are commenting in the comment section. Let us know what you think. And when some of these topics comes up, I know it must generate some thought with you guys. You know, what do you think about some of these things we're talking about? You know, what are your input, right? And also, if there's a topic that you guys would like for us to talk about on the next live stream, put it in a comment. You know, if there's an article you guys read somewhere, say again, Mr. Wang.
I said, please comment below. Let us know what you would like us to talk about next.
Absolutely. Yep. You know, if there's something, if you come across an article that you felt, you know, you feel like would be of interest and contribute to the conversation, hey, let us know. We'll bring it up on the next live stream. So we want you guys to be, we're all in this together, okay? So comment, you know, let us know what you guys are thinking. Any ideas that you have, we'd love to hear it. Okay, Mr. Wang, any last words for the people out there, sir?
No, that's it. Just stay safe and enjoy your weekend. All right, but don't forget to practice social distancing and wear your mask, please.
All right. Yes, I second that, guys. You know, safety, safety, safety. It's better be safe than sorry, guys. I know that
That's
there's,
right.
you know, some people believe that, you know, the COVID-19 pandemic is overblown. And I get some of the arguments, believe me, I understand. But for me, I'd rather be safe than sorry. Even if the numbers are overblown, it's a real disease. And it don't take for you to catch it one time to ruin your life. So why take that chance? Okay? Be safe than sorry. So that being said, guys, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget, next Monday, live stream 5:30 right here, same place, same time. And then Monday night, we have our compensation webinar. You guys know 9 o'clock. You guys have the link. Make sure you join us for that. Have a good weekend, guys, and we'll see you all on Monday. You guys take care.
Have a great
Have a good
weekend.
weekend.